Today on Comm Talk, we're talking about when geeks grieve. Glix, what is going on?
We are receiving a signal from a new area on the planet Geekery.
All right, let's see what the planet has for us today.
Opening comms in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Devoted Geeks, and welcome to Comm Talk, the podcast extension of Geek Devotions, a show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting you know that you are loved. I'm Dallas. I'm so glad to have you guys here with us for episode 148. With me is my beautiful bride,
Celeste.
How you doing today, baby?
Doing all right. The weather change has my voice a little lower than normal.
Right.
So if I sound a little rough, a little gravelly, not trying to imitate Batman.
Right.
Just
So
happening.
you can pull that that southern, there's this weird southern deep tone that's out there for some reason for some of these women. You can pull that off.
Yeah.
So hey guys, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about Batman.
Yeah.
And talk about when geeks grieve. If you missed the news this past week,
Which rock are you living under? But anyway.
Kevin Conroy, the one who was a voice of Batman for me for years and years and years.
Yeah.
The one whose voice is the only voice I hear when I read a Batman comic or I read a Batman story has passed away. And it was kind of surprising.
And he wasn't even that old. Like, he was in his 60s.
Mm-hmm.
You generally think of people passing away and them being like 80s, maybe 90s, but in his 60s, that's fairly young.
Yeah, exactly.
We know people in their 60s or almost in their 60s who are very vibrant and moving, and the thought that they might be close to that age is astounding.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, we're going to talk a little bit about grieving, and we're going to talk a little bit about Kevin Conroy, and specifically an episode of Batman the Animated Series, which I think highlights one of the reasons why this hit hard for me and so many others. Mm-hmm. That was Beware the Gray Ghost. Now, Batman, Kevin Conroy, he didn't just do Batman over the years. He's done a lot of things. He's a very successful voice actor, very talented.
He was a actor before he got into voice acting. I think he had a more illustrious voice acting career.
Yes.
But he definitely, he was in MacGyver. He was in a couple of different shows of the era, just one-offs, but still, I mean, he was an actor.
Mm-hmm. So he had a decent career doing various stuff. He was in stuff like Ben 10, Justice League, obviously, Static Shock, where I guess he played Batman, Lords of EverQuest. He was in Max Payne. Again, he did a lot over the years, a whole lot.
What's funny to me is when I was looking at his credits and for Batman the Animated Series, it listed him as Batman, and then it also was like henchman number 1, henchman number 2. So even within the show that made him very well known as the voice of Batman, he didn't just play Batman. They were like, hey, we need you to be a henchman. He's like, oof, literally, ooh.
He's like, I need you to hit yourself and then be the guy that got hit. It's like you're doing all the above.
Mastering the art of talking to yourself.
Exactly. So, but he was a great character actor, and he was the guy, from my understanding, that he started the whole concept of two voices, the Bruce Wayne voice and the Batman voice, which was innovative.
Yeah.
And it spread. I mean, we know the infamous Christian Bale, where's the girl? The growling one, and it was him trying to carry on the tradition that was started by Kevin Conroy.
Even in the newest one with Sparklebat, he had a different vocal tone to Batman.
Totally. So again, he very influential guy, and we watched just now the episode of The Gray Ghost, and the reasoning why I'm bringing this up, that we're going to talk about this episode, is because it really does perfectly highlight the idea of what happens why people mourn the loss of celebrities. They're just celebrities. There's a lot of people like, so what? It's a voice actor. What's the deal? But these people have inspired us. Mm-hmm. This is the reason why anytime somebody in public domain dies, we mourn for them.
Yeah.
Because they have inspired us in some fashion, some way. It may not be somebody that you're connected to because it's not your thing.
Yeah.
There was a sports celebrity who died recently, and people were mourning that. I'm like, it didn't affect me. I felt bad for the people.
Right.
And to be fair, or to put this out, anytime someone passes away, it's sad to us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we mourn for the loss of that person. We hurt for the families. Death is always a difficult process for everybody.
Right.
But when it hits home, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't even make sense to you why it's affecting you so badly. I don't remember who it was, but somebody passed away and I was just done. And I don't remember who it was, but I remember sitting in the car with you, supposed to be going to work.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I don't know why I'm so upset.
Yeah, I remember that. I wish I could remember who it was.
Remember who it was at the moment.
Yeah. But these people have an impact on you in some fashion. In the episode Beware the Gray Ghost, it's a really interesting episode. It starts off in black and white, and it features a young Bruce Wayne watching a TV show called The Gray Ghost, which was this really cool. It is what Batman animated series was. It was really cool, noir superhero show that really took a lot of tones from The Shadow, who canonically was an influence in Batman. Yeah. In some fashion. Not as much as Zorro was canonically, but he was there for Batman. So you have this story, and flash forward years later, and there is a series of bombings taking place that are very similar to an episode of The Gray Ghost. Mm-hmm. So he has to deal with this. Now, what's interesting about this is this features Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And Adam West.
Indeed. So both of the Batmans.
Both the Batmans.
I found it interesting because Adam West voiced the Gray Ghost. And it was fascinating to me that they put him as the person who Batman had as a role model, because everybody of a certain generation grew up with Adam West as Batman.
Oh yeah, totally.
And Kevin Conroy would have fit into that demographic. So for all we know, now we don't know this for a fact, but for all we know, Kevin Conroy was a Batman fan before he became Batman.
Yeah.
Again, don't know for sure.
Right.
I'm sure there's
somebody knows, I'm sure.
Well, his family probably.
Yeah. But it was interesting having that take place. But there was this conversation that takes place where Batman has to meet the Gray Ghost.
Yeah.
The actor, because he's the only one with information about what's going on. And you have this actor who he did hundreds of these episodes. He can't get work now doing anything but the Gray Ghost, and nobody wants the Gray Ghost anymore. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of defeated. And he's questioning, was there purpose to my life? What was the point of all this?
Yeah.
And then he meets Batman. And Batman's like, look, you inspired me. The Gray Ghost inspired me. He goes, I'm not the Gray Ghost. But at some point, he realizes, even though he was not the Gray Ghost, he made the Gray Ghost come alive for people.
Yeah.
And in meeting Batman, he says this line, so it wasn't all for nothing. He realized that this acting job, this career of bringing to life this character wasn't just a thing he did that was just to be passed off, but he realized he brought inspiration to people's lives by bringing to life a character.
Yeah. And we've talked about before how characters can have influence in people's lives, and how the lady who came up to me at the end of GeekCon 2 years ago and was like, thank you, Miss Frizzle, for being in my life. And I'm sitting here going, I'm just cosplaying her. I'm not her, but for her, I was embodiment of something that had been influential to her.
Exactly. And so, Kevin Conroy's passing hit me kind of hard.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised by it, kind of like you, because he was the voice of a character that I admire, that I look up to. I made a post about it the other day for Geek Devotions when he passed away.
Yeah.
And let me read it for us real quick. To the family and friends of Kevin Conroy, we here at Geek Devotions mourn with you. Kevin meant more to you than any of us will ever know. For us fans, he was and will always be the voice of Batman and Bruce Wayne. He gave voice to a character that inspired us and encouraged us to see goodness amid darkness, to be hope for those who could not see hope in the darkest of times. And that's really the what the character of Batman is for me.
Yeah.
Is a character who he's hope in the darkness. He's somebody who suffered so much as a young man and vowed to make a change so that nobody else has to suffer. And Kevin brought that character to life for so many of us.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been inspired by that. A lot of what we do here at Geek Devotions is because it's kind of along the same way. We're seeing into dark places. We want people to know they're loved and they're cared for because we've been in places where we don't feel that way. And we don't want people to suffer that way. That's part of my attraction to Batman is because he's in a place trying to help people to not experience the same things he experienced.
Yeah.
And Kevin embodied that for us as a vocal artist. And so that's kind of the reason why it hit me kind of hard.
Yeah.
And
I think it hit a lot of people hard. Like when I said jokingly, which rock do you live under? It's because everybody is talking about how he passed. I almost feel bad because the guy who did Gallagher, who slammed into the watermelons, he also passed. And
the same day.
Well, I don't know if it was the same day, but it was announced on the same day.
Right.
Because Conroy's family didn't announce it until the day after.
Okay.
But it's like he had a fan base as well, but I don't see anybody talking about him.
That's sad. So I like Gallagher. It didn't hit me as hard.
Yeah.
But again, that's the whole thing is, now, do we allow this to affect us forever and ever? No.
Yeah.
We mourn. It's sad. And like I said in my post, we're fans. And he inspired us a lot. He inspired me a lot. But his family are the ones who are really hurting. They knew Kevin. I know the voice of Bruce Wayne. They knew Kevin. They lived with Kevin. They did life with Kevin on a daily basis. And so, as a fan, as a geek, we mourn our own way. And we are thankful for what we had. My suggestion for other geeks is to, keep that in mind. There's a family that's missing somebody right now. Yeah. And, if you happen to know them personally, don't get weird about it. Encourage them, reach out to them if you know them personally, but hold on to how he has inspired you. Or anytime somebody, a celebrity or someone who's inspired in any way has passed away, hold on to those, cherish those things. Yeah. Celebrate those things and how they've inspired you and helped you to maybe overcome certain things at times. And look to inspire others in the same way. So, we did not plan this episode out.
No, we didn't script it out. We just watched the episode and came in here with mics, which sometimes I think is some of our best conversation.
Sometimes.
So, but sometimes it's good to have a
plan of action.
Hey, we're going to hit these points.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those things where we're fine. I'm not devastated. I'm sad. Yeah. It was always a joy anytime I would play a game and he's voicing Batman, or there was an animated movie that was coming out and he was voicing Batman. Those are cool things. Yeah. I'm thankful for the fact that I will forever read a Batman comic with his voice in my head.
And that's truly not how you keep somebody alive, because you can't keep somebody alive forever.
No,
But
honor them.
that's how you honor them, by continuing to watch their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
by continuing to, hear their voice in your head. Or if it's someone personally, thinking about the things that they did, or thinking about things that would honor them, that they would like,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Exactly. Now I want to say this for those of you listening, and you're like, well, I'll never be a Kevin Conroy. I'll never be able to do this. I would love for you and I to kick off as voice actors and do some great things, and like Kevin Conroy did.
That'd be fun.
I would love that. I would enjoy it. If you're listening out there, you want a voice actor, holler at us.
We are a team, so you could have male and female
voices.
voices.
So, but even so, there are small things that you do. Those of you listening, whether you know what, they're impacting people around you.
Yeah.
They're inspiring other people in some fashion. You may not draw the massive crowds, but you've inspired the person who does.
What's the old saying? Who led Billy Graham to Christ?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Exactly.
He knew,
Yeah.
but we don't.
Exactly.
So that person had more impact on the world than they probably ever will know.
Right. And that was the thing is, in the show we watched, The Grey Ghost didn't know his impact. He assumed that he was just a has-been actor. It was a one-off. Nothing ever happened. But then he discovered that he literally inspired every aspect of Bruce Wayne, of Batman, down to his secret lair being the Grey Ghost's lair. You're inspiring somebody, whoever's listening to this, in some fashion, directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
You get an option how you inspire them to a degree.
Yeah.
But don't be discouraged if you don't see things today. In that episode, the Grey Ghost didn't see it until years later.
Mm-hmm.
But then he discovered later his actions had bigger ramifications. If we get biblical with this, thinking about Joseph.
Yeah.
And God used him powerfully in a lot of ways. And yet he was in jail for years and years, questioning, what was the point? What was the point in me being faithful to God and running from Potiphar's house and helping these guys get out of jail? What's the point?
Yeah.
And then years and years later, being set up because he did what he did, helped save a nation.
Mm-hmm.
Small things today lead you to the things tomorrow. And thanks to Joseph, an entire people were saved.
Yeah.
And now there's an entire people group who look to Joseph because of his actions. They're here today. Your actions today, your faithfulness today can inspire and change a generation if you're willing to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm running out of things to say with this one.
I think we're good, honestly. Like, this one had a very specific point of talking about the fact that the fans of Kevin Conroy, the fans of who we as a generation know as Batman, are mourning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to mourn these people, even though you don't know them.
Exactly.
You just have to understand it and not let it bog you down.
Exactly. And don't get weird about it. Again.
No.
It's like, don't get weird about it. But it's sad. So that's what we got for you guys today. Not much else past this. If somehow the family Kevin Conroy gets this, we're praying for you.
Yeah.
Kevin inspired us. He inspired me. In a lot of ways. Small things.
Yeah.
When I was a kids pastor, I would do this deep voice when I was messing with the kids. And I didn't realize I was doing the Batman voice.
Until I called, was it me that called it out?
Just you that called it out.
I was like, why are you using the Batman voice? You're like, what?
I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, he inspired me even. And so, thank you for sharing Kevin with us. And we love you. And Devoted Geeks who are mourning right now, we love you. And in the future, again, all pass away at some point.
Mm-hmm.
For us as Christians, it's a matter if they know Christ.
Yeah.
But we mourn regardless. So Celeste, why don't you land this?
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to Comm Talk today. If you have loved this episode, head on over to Apple Podcasts to subscribe, rate, or leave a review. It is very much appreciated. So until next time,
stay devoted.
peace and love.